Hi, this is Barney, singer from Napalm Death in a luxurious backstage garden, and you're watching Search and Destroy. I haven't even really sort of counted albums too much. I just sort of do them and other people count them for me, you know. But no, it's it's definitely a really good album. I was surprised by the way the positive response it got in terms of this. It was pretty much 100% positive from both the people that write about the band and also the people that listen to the band. It was 100%, and it's really hard to get that sometimes, you know. You can please some people but not everybody. So yeah, it was quite satisfying, obviously, for that. And in terms of what it is, I just think it's hard to sort of really define too closely what makes it so different from everything else, because it's a gradual progression, as most Napalm Death albums are, you know. You can tell it's Napalm, it's got all the Napalm elements, but there's little things that take it in different directions. So. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd like to work with him until whenever, because it's hard. With Napalm, we need a sound that's, I mean, yeah, it has to be produced, but we need a sound that's really raw, organic, and spontaneous. And, you know, without sort of putting people down, I mean, a lot of producers don't understand the way that we like to record, the rawness, you know. And I think that, for me, I like my albums to be that way. I like them to have spontaneity. I don't really care if they're so clear that, you know, I'd rather have an album that's seems to have a bit of feeling about it, you know. But that's always been the way for 20 years now plus. And whether it's a good time for all bands, I mean, I'm probably the least qualified to answer that, because we never went away. We were always there. So it's not like a comeback for us, you know. And I've never thought about things like that, to be honest. You know, my only concern is doing the best gig, the next gig that you do, being the best that you could possibly do, and the next album you might do, trying to make it to where it's good, to where it satisfies us first and foremost, and then obviously people that might listen to a Napalm album after that. So I don't worry about what comes and what goes, and it's never been a worry of mine. It's not something that bothers me. I think the 90s, the mid to late 90s, were pretty tough. But I say tough, but I mean, what's tough? It depends what you define as tough. You know, we were still able to get out there and play gigs and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, there was a lot less people interested in really extreme music at that point. It was kind of difficult at times, but we made the conscious decision that we were going to just do what we do, and whatever happens, happens. And we came through, you know, whatever the bad times were, so yeah, it was fine in the end, yeah. Well, I mean, but if you do Harmony Corruption, there's other people that want Scum, and you see the problem with that, So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You know what though, I will say about Napalm, we've never really been a gimmick band, where we just jump on a bandwagon and do something like that. We've never done stuff like that, and like. Maybe there might be a certain degree of, it's a novelty, if we start doing stuff like I don't know, it's hard to say. But, I mean, it's always a possibility, but, our stuff, Napalm stuff is, I mean, I'm not just going to say, people say to us that, especially the last few years, that stuff's as good as anything we've ever done. So at that point, you'd have to ask yourself, well, what would you define as being a classic album, So, but yeah, I mean, it's something to think about, Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, I guess, heavier albums that have, in the last few years, that tried to actually directly copy those early albums. But, the really funny thing is that people talk about Harmony Corruption. I mean, it's got good songs on it, but I think the production's not a Napalm production at all, And I mean, nothing against Scott. It's nothing against his actual production, because his production definitely works for some bands, but I don't think it's a Napalm production, I think it's not raw enough, for me, the sound on that album. But, Scott was just doing what Scott does really well, and, unfortunately it wasn't really a Napalm sound. There you go.